Some Filipinos are now clamoring for the resignation of Justice Secretary Boying Remulla, with his son facing illegal drug charges.
But for President Bongbong Marcos, there's no basis for Remulla to step down. Mobile journalist Julie Baiza gives us the front seat to the story.
Hashtag Remulla resign trended on social media following the arrest of the son of Justice Secretary Boying Remulla. Juanito Jose Remulla III was arrested on Tuesday for possession of 1.3 million pesos worth of kush or high-grade marijuana in Las Piñas City. Despite this, President Bongbong Marcos believes that there is no basis for Remulla to step down.
The calls for him to resign have no basis. You called for somebody to resign if he's not doing his job.
Marcos Jr. explained Remulla made the right decision not to meddle in his son's case.
Being the Secretary of the Department of Justice, he is very, very aware that he must allow the processes of the judiciary to work properly and that no one in the executive should interfere.
Juanito Jose Remulla III is now under the custody of the PIDEA. He is facing charges for importation of illegal drugs. The PIDEA clarified that none of the Remullas reached out to them or visited their detained relative. The agency also assured that they will treat this as an ordinary drug case. Mobile journalist Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
To help us understand this case better, we have with us via Zoom law professor Jedrick Nangi. He is a prosecutor and currently teaches criminal procedure at the PUP College of Law. Prof, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on The Big Story. First, give us an idea. How should this case against Remulla's son proceed? What are we expecting?
So, good evening and thank you for inviting me. So, this case, I believe, was already filed by the prosecutor's office before the courts in Las Piñas. No? So right now, it's up to the court. The process will now be within the jurisdiction of the court. It's assigned. Then the hearing will take place there in the court in Las Piñas City.
Okay, what are the common reasons why drug cases do not prosper, and how does this factor in to Remulla's case?
Well, the Supreme Court has decided that because when it comes to illegal drugs, we arresting officers here have to comply strictly with the provisions of the law pertaining to the chain of custody, like from the time the illegal drugs were seized until it's presented to evidence. So this must be complied with strictly. So that's mostly these cases were this procedure for inventory and the three-witness rule should be followed strictly by the arresting officers. When this is not followed or complied with, then cases would usually be the accused would be acquitted for the charges against them.
Mm-hmm. Now, given that, Professor, can you give us a further idea here? I mean, one of the major reasons or more common reasons as to why drug cases do not prosper in the Philippines is due to poor mishandling of or chain of custody at the same time. So discuss for us at least more details on this one, nuance it for us, especially specific to how that normally progresses here in the Philippines.
Well, again, it's up to the law enforcement officers. They have to make sure that the evidence that they obtain, they have to keep its integrity. That will make sure that that's the same evidence, the illegal drugs that was seized from the suspect until the time that is presented to the court. So, need to say all the time it's seized, time that goes to the laboratory for testing and kept with the evidence custodian, all of that should be properly identified and marked as evidence so that it will maintain its credibility and integrity. So that to prevent any tampering of this evidence, so that is Supreme Court has repeatedly said that this must be complied strictly by the law enforcement officers.
Given what you see, sir, how strong is the case against Remulla's son and the possible penalties? I mean, given also the history of how drug cases like these have been pursued in the past administration, carrying over to this one.
Well, I think I can't comment on the strength of that case yet. I really have not seen cases. I just saw the news reports. But the important thing here is that the police officers that made the arrest here, made the seizure, they must be able to present those evidence, no? Important, preserve the evidence. And then thickest penalty is it's quite high. I think it will be life imprisonment. It's a non-bailable offense. No? So it carries a very heavy penalty. Yeah.
Now, Professor, much has been said about how this case is going to be a litmus test on how the justice system works here in the Philippines, especially considering that you have the son of the Justice Secretary himself involved. So what do you think are the implications of this case and how important is the resolution going to be?
Well, it's a test of our independence, integrity of our justice system. So I think the Secretary of Justice has maintained that he will let the wheel of justice run, no? Without any interference. But I think right now the case is with the jurisdiction of the courts, no? So it's with the judiciary. So it is independent and separate, no? From the executive department. So it will be interesting to see how this case will be. How does this move forward? How will be prosecuted? Yeah, but I believe they said that they'll treat it as a regular case, no, despite the personality involved. So I think we'll just see. I think based on what transpired, it appears that they're willing to let the justice process, no, move ahead, move along.
Okay, one thing is for sure, all eyes will be on how this case will proceed. Again, thank you very much for your insights, Law Professor Jedrick Now.